Once again, to remind you guys, still all those prizes that were eligible during the Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga All Bosses run is still eligible during this hour 50-minute Soul Blazer run. Once again, the Mario & Luigi Comfy Set, framed poster, hats, plushies, the Retro Super Mario XL wallpaper mural, and the Super Mario Aquabead playset. In addition to that, we also have one more prize that you guys can bid for. With a minimum of a $5 donation, we have the Terranigma reproduction cartridge, which was donated to us by Retro Gamer Ryan. For all these prizes, all the bidding wars, all the incentives, make sure you guys just check out the tracker, which you should be able to find through the front page of RPG Limit twitch.tv/RPG Limit Break and our website.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. I'm basically ready now. So.
All right, so just to, dismiss any of our concerns, what happens to be the file name?
Spike, file name?
Oh, yeah, let me tally that up real quick.
Please don't keep us in suspense.
Yeah, let me update real quick. It is $395 raised for Everhate. So,
Yes.
Good choice.
Yes.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it was the only choice.
Yes.
Yeah, for people that don't know, Everhate was probably the first real-time speedrunner of this game, and a really, really well-loved member of the RPG speedrun community. And he unfortunately passed away about a month ago. And he was also a very passionate supporter of Nami and their cause too. So I think definitely looking forward to doing this run in his honor, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. I'll tell you when to start the timer. It'll be after I name the character.
What an interesting name.
Yes. All right. Going in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. This is Soul Blazer. This is a game by Quintet. It's very much an action RPG. We're going to start off by explaining the one main mechanic of this game that you're going to see throughout the entire run, and that is monster lairs. He has to a certain amount of monsters will spawn from a lair, which case he kills them all, and what happens, the lair turns into a switch, and when he steps on it, various things throughout the world happen, such as a townsperson is rescued, or a pathway is open, a bridge is lowered, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's releasing souls that are imprisoned by the devil, basically, also known as Death Toll. And then there's also some, like Ozzy just said, that change the environment in dungeon-type areas. And yes, Quintet is indeed the maker of ActRaiser, if anybody's already noticed the similarities with the HUD at the top of the screen, and then a lot of the sound effects.
Yep. It's definitely one of their known things is they like to reuse a lot of assets from their games, which, for a game company back then on the Super Nintendo, I don't blame them.
One thing I did there in the menu, which may not have been apparent, is after I equipped the Fireball magic, I went and equipped a secondary item. I don't have the Dream Rod yet, but I'll be getting it soon.
Well, the next thing we want to talk about is gems, too. Gems are the basically your MP for casting spells in this game. They have no other function. And you can get some of them from chests, but for the most part, they just randomly drop when you kill enemies. And then the drop rate for larger gems gradually increases the more progress you make in the game. And a bit, not so much now, but a little bit, and then much more so once he gets to the second world, Greenwood. He's going to be able to kill enemies much faster using magic than his sword. So
Yeah.
he'll basically always be able to make use of all of the gems that he gets.
And for those of you who are probably completely unfamiliar, you're probably wondering what is this shining ball counterclockwise going around the character. That is the Soul Orb. The Soul Orb is where all his spells will come out of in some way. Right now he only has the Fireball spell, so naturally it will when he uses it, which costs 4 gems a cast, it will go in the direction he's currently facing, and also from the position of the the Soul Orb.
Yeah, and what Stinger was doing just there too was kind of demonstrating one of the main optimizations for speedrunning this game too. Just because every monster lair has a kind of a fixed number of monsters in it, and they have a set kind of spawn rate and aggro range and that sort of thing too. So he was basically just kind of hopping back and forth between those 2 monster lairs, so he could basically kind of work on clearing them out at the same time versus the way you're kind of meant to do it, which is just to completely clear out one and then move on to the next.
Yeah. If you haven't already told, the time it takes for an actual monster to come out of the lair can be fairly slow. Some of the monsters sometimes do come out fast, but those are for very specific ones. So anytime he can try to multitask as much as he can.
Yeah, because for that one too, he
Yeah.
was actually baiting those enemies to walk closer to him so he could start killing them faster.
That was perfect right there.
Yeah. Yeah, here he's going to take an intentional death.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of these over the course of the speedrun. Because when he dies, he gets sent back to the Master's Shrine without losing any progress in the game. But he does lose all of his gems every time he dies, except for one specific case
Alright.
that we'll get into later.
All right, I think this is a good opportunity to say, when he goes back to town, he usually it's because he's at a point where he has to talk to somebody he's rescued in order to open up the next section of a dungeon or to be able to progress to the next dungeon. And
Because this game's divided into 7 worlds, and except for the final world, everyone has a town. And yeah, you're meant to basically just keep going back and forth as you release souls to repopulate the towns.
yeah.
Also, we probably should do a roll call real quick. I think we forgot to do that part.
Kind of forgot to do that for the last run too. So
But I'm StingerPA.
I'm Poexel.
And I'm Ozzy. All right, so now that he has talked to the most pointless guard ever and started the water wheel,
and then
again, he
also
can now
talk to the water mill person that couldn't figure out to turn the wheel clockwise instead of counterclockwise. If you talk
Righty
to him
tighty,
again.
lefty loosey.
You sometimes forget even the most basics. But one of the things he has to go out of the way to get now is he needs to spawn Lisa, and I believe he's already got the Drain Rod.
Yeah, that was in the first section.
Yeah, the Drain Rod is basically a key item, and the Drain Rod lets you enter the sleeping into a sleeping person's memories, and I mean anything that is sleeping. A
Yeah,
dog.
You can do it to a tree stump. I mean,
Yeah.
find out that trees dream about being birds.
It's always the birds.
It is.
A lot of the monster lairs he is going to be passing up in this game. He's only going for the absolute requirements ones. There is a couple he is going to get that are optional, and this is mostly just for the sake of making things a lot safer.
And then for that fight, that was kind of a good demonstration too of how the sword swing has a kind of an interesting mechanic to it too, where whenever the Soul Blazer swings his weapon, on his right side, the sword kind of lingers for a few frames, as opposed unlike the left side. So he's trying to position himself for a lot of these fights where he's catching the enemies in that swing arc basically and getting multiple hits
Beautiful.
at once.
Yeah, that right there, just lighting up your shot to hit multiple enemies. He's actually got a really good amount of gems right here, so he's...
I have a million gems.
Yes!
Yeah.
Gem drops are actually pretty important to this run because there's going to be times where there's never a moment you can never have enough gems, in my opinion. Even when you don't need any more gems, just the fact that the game was kind enough to give you more,
Yeah.
it's like, thank you, game.
And there he was doing another technique you'll see a lot of too, which is where while he's clearing a lair, he's taking damage on purpose in order to speed up his next death warp.
Actually, parts of that section went so well, I didn't take enough damage.
Yeah. Because here, if you talk to that blue gem in the corner there, that can actually warp you back to town. But the text speed in this game is pretty slow, unfortunately. So even though when you death warp, you get this extra bit of text here, it's faster than if you'd have talked to the gem fairy there.
Yeah, though I will say this, there is some key difference between this version, the US version, and the Japanese version. And the biggest notable one is the text speed. Text speed is 3 times faster in the Japanese version than the English version.
Yeah, it's about a 9-minute difference overall. There are other differences, most notably with some of the bosses. In general, bosses are easier in the Japanese version, but the main reason it's so much of a difference is because of text speed.
Yeah.
But it draws out slow enough that you can sort of follow the story. So I say sort of just because of how much he's skipping.
Please don't leave!
Like here, you're kind of supposed to go back and talk to Lisa more and find out she's Dr. Leo's daughter and stuff like that, but nah.
Goodbye.
Gotta
Nah.
go fast.
Yep. We're just going to invade her dreams and then run away.
Yeah, the whole purpose of entering her dreams in the first place is that entering the dreams, you'll find a switch, step on the switch, and now in the real world, there will be a chest which Stinger is going to get. And then he's immediately going to kill himself because that's all he needs.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a little bit of damage intentionally from those slimes there. And hopefully, yeah, I got good RNG from the plants. I was able to take an extra bit of damage there before going in the exit.
Yeah, this chest contains Leo's brush.
Yeah. And then once he gets that brush, he is done with the underground castle.
All right. I think this is actually a good moment to read a donation, possibly.
Yeah, how about $50 from Yagamoth?
Yaga.
Thank you, Yaga.
Good luck on the run, Mr. Stinger. You should take up that name. That sounds pretty sick. Remember to take the correct cannon travel locations.
Oh, the shots.
And he also says, put this towards whatever Stinger wants.
What's the next incentive coming up? Oh, I know, Essentia's Daughters.
I think that's already been
Oh, that's already
wow.
been done. You can bid on what is the dress color for that of note. I think right now Dark is leading $15 to 0 for both normal and light. If you'd like to put it towards something else, we can just wait till after the run for you to put it there.
Let's go with light.
Go with $50 to light. Thank you very much.
All right. So now he's entered Leo's painting, and this actually room is actually some more difficult than it looks to do.
Just because of these torch enemies have pretty funky hitboxes or hurt boxes.
Not only that, but you notice he was using his fireball to line up as many shots because the fireball does way more damage currently. Magic in this game is really powerful, so he's going to be using it as much as he possibly can. That said, because of how the soul orb works and it's constantly going you counterclockwise, it takes a lot of skill and practice and timing to be able to line those shots just right.
Yeah. One thing, I mean, when I ran this game myself as part of a big race about a month ago, yeah, I learned the hard way that once you press the Y button to shoot, if you change directions after that, it shoots the direction you're facing when the fireball actually appears, so you can mess up your shots pretty easily if you're not careful.
Yeah, right there he also picked up a chest that contained a medical herb. And I guess the closest example I can give to a general audience, the medical herbs act in this game very similar to a fairy in a bottle like Legend of Zelda. As long as you have it equipped, when you die, you'll instantly come back to life with full health. And this is really, really important for the first boss.
Quite a few places in the run, but upcoming for the first boss.
You can't do it without this.
Not fast, at least. Nice snipe there.
Yeah. He's gonna come level up right there.
Yeah, and if you missed it too, every time he levels up, he gets all of his health restored.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few places in the speedrun route where he's trying to level up against a specific set of enemies as part of...
Yeah. It's
having
also
health or not wanting to level up so that he doesn't get healed right before he wants to death warp.
every time you level up as well, you gain for every even level
Well,
up.
let's
you
get into that after this fight. So, all right, so this is Solid Arm, the first boss, and you're
And
it's over.
Yes. There we go.
Good fight.
Good fight.
So you're kind of meant to bait Solid Arm back and forth across that platform and run up and hit him a couple times and then back. But if you have the medical herb, you can pretty much just do what you just saw there, where you hold the L or R buttons on the controller to do what's called crab walking, according to the in-game tutorial for it, to strafe with your sword extended, and then kill him barely before he kills you.
Yeah, oddly enough, there is a difference between the Japanese version and this with just this boss fight. They removed the middle conveyor belt in the Japanese version. It's just a straight bridge, so you just literally hold your sword, crab walk forward, and you're dead.
Yep. Whereas in the English version, there is a bit of tech as far as having to kind of keep tapping the D-pad so that you're still doing damage to Solid Arm, but you don't like walk into him.
Even then, it's still pretty easy.
It's a small butter zone for keeping your sword in him and not actually activating his invincibility attack, where you take damage, but he won't for a little bit.
And it's a pretty punishing death if you die to Solid Arm too, just because it takes too long to unlock the warp tile right before. Cause almost every boss in this, I think every boss in this game has a warp tile right in front of it.
And on top of that, he would have lost the medical herb too, so he can't have that.
But that one is really, really slow to unlock, so we'll skip it.
So now that he's done with this world, he can go on to World 2. This is Greenwood, and this is where the run really begins.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where the difficulty scale just jumps up a cliff.
Some of the enemies here may start off pretty simple, but then you start getting a few really nasty ones. You can kind of see some already. There's these bush enemies that are going to be fun to deal with later. One other thing that he's also hasn't been getting is hasn't gotten any armor upgrades, and he's going to not get any sword upgrades for a while as well.
Yeah, because he had enough gems there, he was able to snipe those bushes. But you can't actually get to where they are until after you've gone through the water shrine. 'Cause, yeah, Greenwood has 3 shrines: water, fire, and light. And that basically saves some time later because he's already cleared a lair.
These bush enemies are incredibly random. They will go in any 4-point direction. You really kind of just have to hang back and wait for it, because when they step forward and do their reach out and grab me hand attack, they're completely invincible.
Yeah, this is where using that sword arc technique to get multiple hits per swing really helps too, just because the more hits you're getting, the better you're stun locking the enemies, that they're going to die before they can run into you.
Alright, here we're going to get another medical herb. This is an incredibly important one too, that's going to come in handy once he gets past this shrine and gets to the fire one.
Yeah, it's part of the route for safely skipping the ice armor, which is the armor upgrade in Greenwood.
Yeah, most armor in this game provides some sort of passive bonus on top of a defense upgrade as well.
The ice armor lets you walk on heated tiles, basically, without taking damage.
Yeah. Note, heated tiles, not lava.
Yep.
That's a very important distinction in this game. These mudmen are very, very simple. Even though it looks like, oh, this looks really easy to do, and for the most part it is, positioning is a huge part of just about everything when it comes to dealing with the monster lairs. And that was really good.
Nice, yeah. Because it might not be obvious if you haven't played, but with those bushes, when they're extending their vines to attack you, they are completely invincible, and their movement and attack pattern is random.
Yeah.
So you're kind of at their mercy there as far as just how quickly you can clear them out while they're vulnerable.
You can manipulate the enemy's AI for the most part in this game to a certain degree. just by simply being in a certain position. And if it's 100% consistent for most enemies in this game, and there's only a few that I can think of at the top of my head that where it doesn't really matter. So now that the water shrine is dealt with, he can go ahead into the fire shrine. He's actually been doing really good on... Ooh, he's taking a lot of hits. That's
That'll be
not
fine.
good.
This is a particularly annoying lair, I think, too, just because of how many bushes there are, how slowly they spawn, and
There's this lizard
and how
thing.
little space you have to work with, too. So yeah, if they do that, then it's pretty hard to avoid.
Yeah. That one bush layer he cleared with the fireball earlier, that one in particular is really important because it creates a shortcut back to the Master Shrine.
Right, so because he took a lot of damage against the bushes, he does need to play this fight a little safe, but he should gain a level off of these enemies here and then get a health refill.
Right. There
There
it
we
is.
Because what you really, really, really don't want to have happen here is to accidentally use your medical herb, which I believe you still have selected after the... because you haven't actually changed your item since equipping it for solid arm.
By the way, I want to say your gem count is godly.
And it was really important, by the way, too, that because he sniped those firemen across the... because firemen aren't immune to fire, conveniently. And he sniped them across the pit. But yet you do have to... there's a bit of a lag between when you kill the last enemy and when the lair explodes. And you did have to wait for that to actually happen before screen transitioning, or else it would have completely reset that lair.
Here's one of the most difficult lairs to do in the entire game.
Yeah.
These lizards are completely random whether or not where they teleport, and while they're teleporting, they're invincible. And
Ooh. Almost
no, that's
fine.
good. That's good.
It's
That's
almost
good.
perfect. Nice.
Still took damage. Whatever.
That was a really good.
Yeah,
lair.
I've seen cases where the lizards will literally just split up and just continue going right or left, and you
Yep.
have to chase them down.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to. I mean, they're always kind of annoyingly random, but that's the worst one of them all, just because of I mean, they can get outside your attack range pretty easily depending on
And
where
you-
they move.
The tight corners don't help at all. All right, here's where we're dealing with heated tiles. Right now, he's going to go take care of a lair that is completely optional, but it's so worth it in just about any case. I don't think any run, except for
Low
a
percent.
low percent
Yeah,
run
with
that has been done by Everhate, has skipped this. He's getting the best spell in the game, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
It is
You conveniently get pretty early in the game too.
yes.
Yeah, so light arrow magic is it's a projectile attack just like fireball, but it does shoot, and it shoots in 4 directions, and it has a larger hitbox, so you can potentially get multiple hits per shot.
It's also only cast 8 gems a cast, which is a little bit more expensive right now. But right now he's got a lot of gems, so he can feel pretty good about spamming this.
Yeah, I was able to get one enemy up at the top layer, which I'm going to next. So that'll speed that up a little bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get any more because the lizard just decided to go to the top of the screen, but
Ooh.
That mess.
well.
Again, he doesn't want to take any more damage here if possible.
Yeah, just because he's walking across. I mean, you can safely walk across these heated tiles here by just waiting them out, but
That's slow.
that's really slow compared to just walking across and then eventually using his medical herb for a refill.
And that medical herb should be consumed. Okay, you're gonna skip that chest. All right.
Yeah, there's a
I'm
chest
gonna
with
get
a
to 16.
there's a chest with 100 gems that he just skipped. That's a good idea if your luck hasn't been that good with the drops so far.
Stinger has been pretty good with his drop so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the 60 gem chest at the end of this area.
See,
instead.
like that? Gets a 10. Yeah, that's the thing about gem drops in this game. The increments of gem drops are come in ones, the small ones, mediums, which is 5, and the big one, 10.
And when he gets to the final world, like every enemy pretty much drops a 10. So.
All right, and yeah, the light arrow is just an amazing ability.
Oh,
Probably one of the best. Yeah, I was gonna say.
My gem count's not that good.
The light arrow spell also has the nice benefit of, unlike where the fireball, you had to aim yourself to make sure that it went the right direction. You really don't have to worry about that with the light arrow spell.
So we do have a mandatory return to town now, just because in order to use the rafts, in order to reach the light shrine, the final area of Greenwood, he needs to get leaves of Greenwood from
very
going
special
into
leaves.
using the Dream Rod again. I just like how matter of fact this is too. Yes, okay, walk across.
All right. There's a sleeping bird over here, so naturally we need to use the Dream Rod.
Yeah, every time you see somebody sleeping, yeah, then it's time to eavesdrop.
And here we have the memory of Turbo the dog.
Yes, who is Quintet's mascot. Turbo's in basically every Quintet game, including ActRaiser, which PJ is going to be running in a couple days. Or, I'm sorry, not ActRaiser,
RoboTrack. I was gonna.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, new addition to the schedule.
Yes. That mole he just walked by while he was getting the leaves too is an upgrade for your soul orb, which lets you see in darkness, which is coming up in the basement of the light
There's
shrine.
various soul orb upgrades, and they're really none of them are useful.
Yeah, the normal any percent skips all of them except the Soul of Magician, which is required.
Yeah. All right. Want to read a donation? He's just going to travel across these planks for a little bit, really.
Yeah, here's two quick ones. We actually got quite a few coming in. We got $10 from Killer T Poe. Good games for a good cause. I love this, and all you guys do. You rock. I also got a $150 donation from Mark Johnston. Yes, very much. Thank you. He did not leave a comment, but my comment for him is thank you very much, Mark.
And here's a great example of why Light Arrow is amazing.
Yes, because the structure of this floor here is just that there's these light beams that are impenetrable walls, and most of the layers in this floor will despawn one of them. And he's able to just blitz through this floor a lot faster if he uses the light arrow to just clear out enemies in the next section in advance.
Yeah, it's the main reason why he's been collecting so many gems and didn't want a Death Orb to lose all of them. It's just so much faster to use the light arrow to do it. And it feels really good when you do it.
And lags the game a lot, but that still saves massive time for the efficiency.
Yeah, I'm also saving up some gems for the first area of the third world.
Yeah. These Will-O-Wisp enemies that you see bouncing around, they're considered a ghost-type enemy in this game. There's two types of enemies that can only be damaged by two unique swords. A Zenjutsu blade that kills metal enemies, and the Spirit Sword, which kills ghost-type enemies.
Yeah, we've seen multiple metal enemies already. Like there were some in Leo's painting, and then there were scorpion enemies in the Fire Shrine. But yeah, this is our first time seeing ghost enemies.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Will-O-Wisp, to be honest. They have somehow managed to worm their way into that box and corner me. Yeah, more of the fantastical random lizards, but because it's not such a tightly corridored area, it's a lot easier to handle with them. Alright. Now, remember that mole we told you we could have gotten to make this area a lot brighter?
Mm-hmm.
This is it.
Yeah, this is Soul Blazer paying homage to Zelda 2. And just like in Zelda 2, as long as you know the layout of the floor, you are perfectly fine just going through in the dark.
And even then, it's really not that bad. There's a little torches, so you kind of have something to identify in the area. You know, there's like, it's the equivalent of a landmark.
Yeah, they could have made it much worse.
You mean like the Crystal Room in Illusion of Gaia?
Yes.
Only have it be the size of this place instead.
And even then, the light created by the Soul Orb, if you have the upgrade, is only surrounds like a slightly larger around the Soul Orb itself. So you have a spinning light around you. It's kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, so this layer is technically optional, but he's sealing it in order to get the warp tile back to the Master's Shrine. That's both so he can get healed for the Greenwood boss that's coming up, and then also use it in order to get back without having to Death Warp and lose his gems.
Yep. And he steps in real quick to get a full heal, because he is about to fight what
Yeah, which is generally considered the most difficult boss in the run. So.
that boss for many.
Alright, so the World 2 boss is 3 elemental statue heads. All 3 of them have pretty erratic movement, but it's 100% manipulatable just because they all react to what you do.
But if Stinger is even slightly off in his movement, things can get bad. Remember, he doesn't have any armor.
Yeah, he'll die in like 3 or 4 hits, I believe.
Okay, the last head's
Should be
always
good.
the most difficult. And ooh, yes,
Nice.
perfect.
Too early.
Well, kind of too early, but yeah, good.
Yes.
All right.
One other thing we kind of forgot to mention with why he's, for the most part, just doing poking with his sword during boss fights versus just swinging his sword, is we have said that usually the swing of the sword does a little bit more damage, but bosses have less invincibility frames going on, so the actual minimum damage of just the constant poking is just way more DPS.
Yeah, that plus the fact that your swings only do the same amount of damage on bosses. There's zero reason to ever swing on a boss.
Yeah, because against regular enemies, you get both. Your attack power is based on both your level and your strength stat, and also your weapon. But against bosses, it's always the same.
All right. Now he got his McGovern, and you get earlier he got a stone from the mayor of the last town. Now he got a green stone. There's absolutely no reason for this game to actually have them in the story. It's just they're just there to be there. It would have been just as fine if the game had said, "Oh, by defeating that boss, you've weakened the seal to the world of evil."
Oh, and maybe during this part we can also call attention to that having an 8-character name is pretty costly. I mean, in a lot of RPGs, shortening the character's name to 1 letter saves like frames over the course of over the game. No, in this it's probably a minute or more, just because of how slow this text
It
runs
looks
out.
it, yeah.
It's all good though. This is for charity.
Yeah, this next area is actually really difficult if you don't have gems.
Yeah. Yeah, it's solely because of these rock enemies that he has to kill a number of, because he's still using the Sword of Life, which is the sword he got way back at the beginning of the run.
And these rock enemies have a ton of defense.
Yeah. So he can one-shot them with light arrows, but if he had to actually kill them with his sword, it would take considerably longer because of just how many hits it would take.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But he's looking really good on gems, so
Yeah.
should have a pretty smooth Satherta.
Yeah, he's letting those enemies kind of spawn in a little bit so he can try and get them all with 1 light arrow shot. Let's see. Yes! And here's the last little bit of rocks, and
Oh, that one moved.
yeah. And now I just don't die to the donkey.
Yeah.
Try not to.
Please don't die to this guy.
All right, here he is though, he's going to do another death warp because that's pretty much all the gem drops he ever needed for.
Yep.
Oh, so the structure of St. L's, the third world, too, is that there's these mermaid statues that surround the entry point to the town, and yeah, he's basically just releasing all 4 of them, and each one opens the way to the next dungeon area. St. L's is the longest world in the game, just because it's got the highest number of dungeons and the highest amount of backtracking, too, I would say.
Yeah, and here he's gonna get his first actual armor upgrade, the bubble armor.
Yeah, which is meant to be the
Finally.
third armor, yeah. He's not actually going to put it on right away, but yeah, you'll see why the bubble armor is required, because if you don't have the bubble armor equipped, you can't breathe underwater, so you continually take damage, and he's going to be spending a lot of time underwater in St. L's, so there's just skipping the bubble armor completely is just not possible.
Yeah, so this is the only monster lair he has to kill right here, so he is gonna do another death warp.
Yeah, this is to get the first mermaid statue.
So if we get a donation, this would be a good time.
I've got a $30 donation from Circuit Maine. Soul Blazer has been a huge part of getting me into RPGs at an early age. I'm glad to see this awesome classic is still known and being played. Here's $30 for keeping this game into the minds of us all. And remember, paintings are evil.
What? You don't say.
I've also got a $50 donation from Instixic. You hear a voice from above. Good luck, Stinger. Here's $50 to put towards Runner's Choice.
Yeah, and you do need to talk to the mermaid statues for them to actually remove these barriers in the main kind of hub area, and it's kind of easy to forget to actually do that when you're getting started with the game, too.
Yeah, but that's basically how this third world's gonna act. He goes to a place, releases a seal that releases a mermaid statue, he talks to the mermaid statue, goes to the next area. Rinse, wash, repeat until he gets to the boss.
It is underwater, so.
Yep. These jellyfish enemies, again, enemies in this game are really predictable as long as you follow a set pattern.
Yeah, it's all based on positioning. As far as kind of aggroing them to charge at you, but not being in their line of attack.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is still a little bit semi-RNG, but they react in a mostly predictable way. So you always know they're going to go off to the left.
Alright, seahorses, nah. I don't think I've ever died to seahorses.
Yeah, the only time you fight seahorses are after this island, and you have full health, so you shouldn't die, and you get a level up at the same time.
Now, the next thing about this area is more or less destroying a lair will drain water, which will give him another medical herb, which is a very important medical herb he's going to need later for Durian.
Maybe need.
Yeah.
It's a safety item because the second island, Durian, is extremely RNG reliant because there are falling meteors in it, and it's possible I won't have enough health to complete it.
I've never been fortunate enough to not want to skip that. One more DK, I believe.
Yeah, we call these Donkey Kongs.
Yeah. You never guessed why. He's got 35 gems, so he's got a few more wonderful rock enemies here. Luckily, these ones are pretty easy. Jesus, your gem drops.
Yeah, too bad I wasn't going to make good use of one of them. Oh well.
Yeah, it's when you actually
There we
see
go.
good gem drops in this game, you can't help but be impressed when you really run this. Stinger, please. Yeah, again, he is preparing to do yet another death warp here, so he is intentionally taking a lot of damage. So if the worst case scenario were to happen where he died right there before he killed the last enemy, the way monster lairs work in this game is they will all of them will respawn if you exit the screen, but you didn't kill all the monsters of the lair. So
Good job, DK.
Yeah, if you reload the screen, it resets all monster lairs that are not completely cleared out, and that's if you die and have to backtrack, then that
This
by definition
also
will reload
works
the screen.
if you when you notice some lairs when you step on the switch and you get taken to like the area where hey, this building appeared right back in town, that counts as refreshing the screen.
Yes, correct. So he doesn't need to be mindful of that when he's kind of clearing multiple layers out at the same time. But if he seals a layer that just like in that last island makes one of the ponds disappear or something like that, then that doesn't count.
No, it's only when I always found it very weird when I first started playing this game was your character physically transports himself just to see this building up here. And there's moments it's like, I have this wonderful item to give you. Come back to town later and I'll give it to you.
I guess I've always kind of interpreted that he's not really there. He's just kind of watching metaphorically or something.
Yeah, only 15. Okay, those were not the best gem drops from there,
Yeah,
sadly.
I got one medium drop, but that was it. We'll see.
Yeah, here he's actually going to want more gems.
Yeah,
He's got more of those wonderful rock enemies to deal with.
it's kind of rare that I do get all the gems I need, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah, so we're coming up onto the much hyped Durian Island, which is the volcano. And there's a soul we could have gotten previously that causes these raining fireballs to despawn when they get close to you, but gotta go fast. So.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it is random. Both I believe both their falling pattern and how much damage they do to you, as far
Yeah,
as
that
how
was
many,
a good
how
gem
many
drop.
times they hit you.
Yeah, he would, I think a good number for this area is around like 45, 50 gems.
Yeah, 50 gems after this layer would be very nice.
That would certainly be very lucky. One of the things the game expects you to do in this area, again, it's a volcano, and there is lava. They expect you to get the mermaid's tear and use the mermaid's tear to freeze the lava solid so that it's safely to walk over. Because actually stepping on lava does a ton of damage.
Yeah, it does 4 damage a step, basically. So it kills you really fast.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we don't have that, and it's really, really slow
Yeah,
to
it's
go out
not
to get it.
it's not a terribly big detour to get, but since we can, we will skip it. And
Ooh,
skipping the mermaid's tears does have another payoff much later on in the run.
that was a
too.
nice gem drop.
Yeah, I should be good on gems now.
Yeah, alternatively, there is another chest here if you're like me who really struggle with this area of the game when learning it. There is another chest that you can get another emergency medical herb. You might need it.
Hopefully not.
All right, now we can get access to Lou the Dolphin. Lou the Dolphin has the Thunder Ring, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lou the Dolphin, not to be confused with Lou Dolphin, who's going to be running Final Fantasy 13 later
That's what I
on.
was thinking when you said it.
Yeah.
All right. He's got one more monster layer to clear off here. Unfortunately, he has to do it a little slow. He's about 4 gems of actually being able to finish it off, so he's going to have to lure
He's gonna have to
TK.
lure it over here.
Yeah, now there's the medium drop he needed. Yeah. And now he's going to go ahead and
Yeah.
Death Warp.
So kind of like we said, I mean, you're meant to use the mermaid's tears to cool down this lava and just be able to fight those monkeys and seal the lair safely. But by sniping as many of them as possible with the light arrows, and then in most cases using the medical herb to get across the lava before you die, we're able to just completely skip that part.
Yeah, and the medical herb being the only item in the game that is capable of healing you as well. You can only carry 1 medical herb on your person at any given time. Also, there is places where you can get more medical herbs throughout the game, but they're incredibly out of the way to get.
Yeah, I mean, there's a shopkeeper you can release in the very first world that if you talk to her without a medical herb, she'll give you one, but that's quite slow and out of the way.
Yeah, not to mention you'd have to travel between towns to get it again, and
Yeah, we made a lot of use of it in the kind of semi-blind race of this we did about a month ago, but yeah, a more serious speedrun just only makes use of the medical herbs you get out of chests.
All right. Now the Thundering is a very unique item in this game, but you'll only see actually used very
Just with this once,
one
basically,
thing.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, them's the shakes.
If it's used more than once, then things went horribly wrong.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll exactly see what the Thunder Ring does in a little bit here. It's not a huge trip to there, though he does have to kill this lair with these shell enemies. It's pretty obvious. you can damage them when they're moving around, but when they're standing still and they've got their little hermit shell over them like that, they're invincible. I will say this much. I remember when I was first going through this game, I had one of the swords he could have gotten, the critical sword.
Yeah, which was on Durian.
Yeah. The critical sword is pretty cool in this game as it has a percentage
I
chance
think it's
to
1 out of 16, I think, per hit is the odds.
Yeah.
Once every 16 frames.
Yeah, to instantly kill an enemy you're fighting. I believe the task was actually is attempting to
No, the
manipulate.
the current task does it too, where
Yeah.
it manipulates poking enemies on the right frames that they instantly die. And that, I mean, if you're capable of doing that, that saves a lot of time on the hermit crabs. But there's currently no known way to manipulate that in real time, because it's on a 16-frame cycle, like Stinger just said.
Yeah. Still, it's a really nice sword to have. Too bad we don't have it.
Yeah, so these are metal Donkey Kongs, which are just kind of making a conga line now to follow
Yeah,
us
and
over here.
hey, here's that thundering, guys, going to work.
Yep.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
All it does is the thunder ring makes it so that lightning will strike these golden period things that are out in the field, and just only that field, and it will destroy any enemy, including metal enemies, in the
And-
blast radius.
And now we'll never see it again.
Yeah.
So once he actually starts equipping armor, in a lot of cases where he wants to take a death warp, he will actually unequip the armor so that he'll take more damage from getting hit, and then that'll
And hopefully
make it faster, even taking into account the time he has to spend opening the menu, because he can usually combine it with other
and
menuing
thankfully
too.
remembering to put it back on again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Forgotten to do that.
I mean, it's if you forget to do it here, you'll get reminded instantly when you leave St. L's. But especially in Magrid Castle, there's a lot of really easy, well, not a lot, but a couple of places where it's pretty easy to forget to put the light armor back on, and then
Yeah,
you'll die very, very
You
fast.
go from taking 2 damage per hit to suddenly
To, like,
losing 8.
to like 8, yeah.
And a quick shout outs to you guys. Thank you now for over $3,000 raised for RPG Land Break.
All right. Stinger here is going after another optional item, but I don't think not even the task would ever skip this.
No.
This is the power
Especially
bracelet.
since you don't even have to seal Lara to get it.
Yeah, the power bracelet is an accessory item that takes up this like the same slot as if you have a medical herb equipped. It doubles your attack power.
Yep, and that applies to both swinging and poking.
It's really good, and just like with the switching his armor when he actually has to unequip the power bracelet and use like a medical herb, you will quickly notice the difference if you forget to put the power bracelet back
Yes.
on.
And yeah. All right, so then we've got the St. L's boss here, which we'll be seeing as soon as we get to the front of this ship. It's a giant skull
With hands.
with hands, yeah. It's pretty easy compared to the Greenwood boss, but if you take any hits like that,
Yeah.
you can get comboed
Yeah, he
to
hits
death pretty
hard.
fast.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is almost always a three cycle fight.
Well, it is in the English version.
Yeah.
In the Japanese version, for whatever reason, I usually
Nice.
just differences with the cycle
All
timing.
right, that was
can be
very
too
scary,
rounded,
but he got through it.
it ends up being about like a 2.3 maybe cycle fight or so. So even though he had a little issue with the first cycle, he got enough hits in that the third one got the kill. Thanks to the power bracelet too, because that did effectively halve the number of hits he had to get to kill the boss.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that boss without the power bracelet.
Low
anymore.
percent.
Why would you do that to yourself? Oh, ever hate.
Yes. Yeah, low percent is, if I get people not familiar with speedrun terminology, means because this isn't any percent run where he's trying to beat the game as fast as possible, but he is doing some stuff that isn't technically required to beat the game, but ends up saving more time in the time investment, like getting the light arrow magic, getting the power bracelet, a couple other things. But low percent means that you cannot do anything that's not required to finish the game.
The
so
barest of minimums.
yeah, so the only weapon and armor upgrades you can get are, I think you have to use the bubble armor for the entire run. You have to get the Zentetsu and Spirit Swords, but that's it. And then
And the Soul Blade. You have to have the
yeah,
Soul
and
Blade.
then Fireball is your spell
Yeah.
the whole game.
I don't know. Can you skip getting the fire ball spell?
No.
No, because the Soul Magician just gives it to you.
All right.
You can't skip him.
You could always just say, I won't use it. All right.
Alright, so coming into the Mountain of Souls, which is the 4th world out of 7.
Yeah, this Mountain Souls actually has some very unique enemies to it. The rats, not unique enough, though. These guys, not unique enough.
The Yetis. Not to be confused with our wonderful shirt partner who you should buy some shirts from during the marathon.
I might take you up on that offer. We have these bats here. These particular bat enemies, though, are nothing to be concerned about. They always follow the exact same pattern. They're not that big of a deal. However, this is where we start dealing with mooses, skeleton mooses, but those are not the threat.
Meese.
Mooses. Nah, the real threat is right around this corner. Snowballs!
Yes. These snowballs are kind of an interesting concept for an enemy, just because you can't actually kill them with your sword. They grow as they travel across the snow, and then when they reach a certain size, the next time they hit either a rock or a wall, they'll explode. But it's not always either fast or convenient to do so.
Here he got one of the most important armors for the entire run and hell, the entire game for this area, called the Magic Armor. Nice little defense boost, but more importantly, it cuts the gem use of every magic spell in half. So now his Light Arrow spell only takes 4 gems to cast. And that's really important because
he still is using the Sword of Life from the first world, so his I mean, he has every other level up he's gained has increased his base strength by 1, but he's pretty far under level at this point as far as his offense power. So he's just going to be relying on the light arrow magic, which he can use twice as much because of the magic armor.
And if it isn't clear enough, the way he was moving like that is because he was on ice, and it's very much like your typical sliding ice puzzle. He is going to get an item here that's going to make it so it allows him to walk on ice through the power of snails. So it's going to happen here in a little bit. Alright. And here's the boy that will give it to him.
After he celebrates being back.
Mushroom shoes.
And then because of how important magic is on the Mountain of Souls, instead of death warping to get back, he's going to use this blue gem fairy here.
Yeah, you're thinking, oh, 91 gems, and his magic cost is cut in half to only 4 per cast. Oh, he'll have plenty. No.
Yeah, because it's actually not even just because his sword is pretty outdated at this point. There's also certain enemies coming up really soon where he needs to use magic in order to be able to kill them quickly, and it's a huge difference between quick kill and normal kill.
Yeah, it can be extremely slow comparatively, especially the bats, and then later on you'll see the whiz ropes.
That's what I was alluding to.
So he's gonna do a backtrack here. One lair he did destroy, but he didn't hit the switch. Now he's gonna hit the switch since he's here. Snowballs. I hate these things.
Generally, you should be able to go in a certain path to avoid them, like I was able to do there, but sometimes they just don't cooperate.
I've never seen that happen. I've never seen nobody ever not get hit by those things.
I got hit once.
And then got healed by releasing the lair.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you wait on that lair, or is there...
That plus it's faster just to go on while the layer is unsealing itself after you kill the last bat.
So he was using the mushroom shoes there, but when you have the mushroom shoe, or to walk across the ice without sliding in a straight line, which might not have been quite obvious, but once he has the mushroom shoes equipped, he no longer has the power bracelet, so he needs to make sure to do this.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, even though it looks like that's ice, that he would need the shoes to not fall. In reality, it's just
Stinger was just giving a nice demonstration of how important the power bracelet is there by killing a slime or two without it.
Yeah. Yeah, the slimes that he never lets me forget.
What, did you die to them or something?
No,
Or-
I accidentally forgot to get them one run.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, truth be told, I mean, that is one of the kind of more difficult parts of just learning the route for this game is just memorizing all of the layers that are required
It's in that
as the
top
route
right
and then
corner, and
how
I
to optimally
completely
do each one.
bypassed it.
That was our first Wizrobe layer, by the way, too. The Wizrobes spawn and then just don't do anything unless you get closer, and then they aggro and start teleporting around. But that's really bad because they're invincible when they're teleporting, or even in their teleport animation.
Yeah, they're about as Wizrobes get.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they're pretty easy to take out with the light arrow magic.
And incredibly annoying to deal with if you don't.
Yeah.
The bats are the same way. The bats circle around you. You can hit them with your weapon by kind of like going up and then quickly going down and trying to slash them, but it's really hard to time, and you just don't come here without gems. That's the best advice I can give.
He's trying to
Sounds really
snipe
good.
some of those slimes across too, but
Those are just minor consequence.
yeah,
All right.
extra XP. So you're more Wizrobes. He wants to kill all of them without aggroing.
A little early.
It's a little, and this is where just having a good memory of how many there are in the lair matters too. Because if you miscount or forget and then go down early, and then another Wizrobe spawns, it's going to immediately teleport and slow you down a
Not
lot.
only that, it's just generally you're gonna save way more time over the entire course of the run just by knowing this, because you're always stepping gradually towards it rather than kind of just hesitating.
So you finally got a weapon upgrade, but unfortunately, there's there's a mechanic with weapons in this game where you need to be a certain level in order to be able to swing it. And that's not something that's really ever going to matter in a casual playthrough, because if you're actually sealing every possible monster lair, you're always naturally going to reach the level requirement for each sword generally before you actually get it. But it matters a lot in the speedrun. But one little oversight that Quintet made is that even though he can't swing the Lucky Blade, he can poke enemies with it still, and he still gains the passive modifier for it. In this case, the Lucky Blade increases the drop rate for larger gems.
Yeah, some runs I would disagree with that actually happening, but
Yeah, the lucky odd is supposed to improve the odds, but I've seen proof that it doesn't. Alright, here's gonna wait for all these enemies to spawn and hopefully take them all in like a good burst like that. And there we go, there's some good gem drops. More would be nice. More would always be nice. I can't stress it enough. Because not only has these layers to do it, but he has an entire another area to go through where he's going to be casting way more spells.
generally I like to get out of this area with 50 gems, so it looks like I'm going to hit that. I've got one more layer to seal, and hopefully I'll get a big gem drop from it.
Yeah. Let's see, there's one more bats. Here we go.
All right, 50 gems exactly.
Nice.
I like it. Alright.
Still need some drops, but it's just normal luck that I need, not extraordinary luck.
And shortcut. Alright, he's going to be talking to it. No, he's going to go be immediately right to the next area, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, fun thing about that grandpa right there, if you don't get the lucky blade, he won't let you go past.
Really?
So it's actually a required item.
I never knew that, actually.
I didn't know that either. Okay, and then here's the first time he's taking advantage of a
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly intended, but there's if you press your character up against a wall or other kind of barrier, that'll actually cause the soul orb, that's your source of magic, to float away from your body. And you can in a speed run you can exploit that basically to like what he was doing with those slimes was he was positioning it to shoot a light arrow shot to kill all of them before they aggroed and started jumping around. Saved quite a bit of time.
Alright. Here, these enemies are all going to spawn fairly quickly, so you just wait for the wall and 71. You gained
Yeah.
a profit.
I think I'm good.
All right. So now that he's done with this section, he's gonna go straight on.
Well, there's still this
Yeah,
one.
the slimes.
Yeah, these slimes spawn pretty slow. Have to wait for 4 of them. So, here we go.
And there we go.
I always like how the gems kind of naturally form a little line there too, depending on size.
That was really neat. Yeah. We
Yeah,
have.
if it wasn't obvious, by the way, too, whenever he's using the crab walk technique with the L and R buttons, he's also pulling in gems that he's in line with, too.
Yeah, I think that's another game mechanic that's they use in other games as
It's
well.
an Illusion of Gaia, too, yeah. Only your in L and R are defense instead of attack in that game, but yeah, it still has the same telekinesis.
I always thought it was like a magnet, like your sword just attracts them.
Could be.
Alright. He doesn't have to kill that Wizrobe right there, so he's just gonna ignore him for the most part. If he kills him, he kills him.
I'll probably kill him because he's just going to be annoying, and eventually one of my light arrow shots it's killing these Wizrobes will kill him. But
Yeah. Like that.
Goodbye.
Alright, he's got a few more basic layers that are very similar to this to clear out in this area. This would be a good point, I think, for a donation.
Yeah, because he's just he's prepping to release the true heroes of this game too.
Okay.
Take it away, or Annihilator.
Yeah. We have $30 from Dan, God of Thunder. Good
Hey,
thing I
Dan.
didn't. Good thing I didn't have to drive an armored truck up there. Brinks got mad the last time I tried to do that. This should get me in for the PS4. Good luck and/or blame Everhate.
Feel free to do
Yeah,
that.
keep
Feel,
going.
yeah, feel
Yeah.
free to bring that armored car money anyway. Too. We won't object.
We also have $100 from Ronze. Great event, great games, great RPG Jerkbird. All hail the Demon Chocobo.
all hail.
Your lord and master.
All right, so you've got Poseidon, the Mountain of Souls boss. This is a pretty laughable fight if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't even have to really explain its attacks here. They're so telegraphed that even the most basic a player could beat this boss. I will say this, though, in the Japanese version, this boss is called Medusa for some reason.
And it's also female.
I'm not exactly sure what the line of thinking with that was. So, okay. The one thing I'll say about the subtle difference also between the Japanese version and the English version here is the...
Oops.
I was wondering why she wasn't dead yet.
Yeah. Fortunately, I had plenty of health.
Yeah.
So it won't matter. It's just going to be like 6 cycle or something instead of
And-
4 cycle.
As I was saying, the Japanese version, there's some of the ledges on the left and right-hand side that are a little bit more extended, so you can kind of get a little bit more damage in.
That's
okay,
That's 2 now.
Yeah.
It's okay, you haven't died
You
on
can-
accident.
You can redeem yourself by not forgetting to re-equip the light armor in Magrid Castle, though, like everybody that runs this game does multiple times.
Alright. He has, now that he's done with that, he's going to go ahead and clear out the last of these couple layers here that he absolutely has to do. It's required. Not because the game says so, because we said so.
No, the game definitely says so.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, yeah, we'll wait to explain more, but those are the true heroes of the game.
And it's time for a diff warp. And there you go.
During a Death Warp, I will read off a $50 anonymous donation saying, "Hi, friends. Hi, Anonymous. Wish I was there to hang out." I agree, you. But donations from afar will have to do. Shoutouts to Puexel, Bob the Ninja Goldfish, Voolagin, and the whole crew for being so awesome. Please put this towards, please put this donation towards FF6 Good Taste.
Ooh.
That doesn't mean I don't. That doesn't mean I won't donate for Demon Chocobo later. Mwahaha.
Sorry.
So this is because normally after you've killed bosses, you release kind of the leader of the town, and then talking to them gives you the stone and lets you move on. But in this case, we're actually skipping the Mountain King. We do need to talk to him later on for another reason, but in order just to be able to continue on to the next world, Leo's Lab, we actually talked to Gnome the Snail that we released earlier.
And here we are, guys. Time for best music hype.
Yeah, best music and also most difficult dungeon.
Yeah.
Because Leo's Lab, because remember how earlier in the game there were these metal enemies that he was incapable of damaging. Well, in Leo's Lab he gets the Zentetsu sword, which actually can damage metal enemies, but you need to be level 16 in order to swing it. And he is nowhere near that yet, but he will reach it in this world.
And even then, almost all the enemies in Leo's Lab hit like trucks.
Yeah, and then because when he's poking enemies with the sword, which is his only way of doing damage at less than level 16, it just makes every monster lair fight really kind of intense and scary, basically, because of how many hits he has to get in and how quickly he can die if things get out of control.
Yeah, this is probably what many beginning runners are going to struggle the most.
Yeah, the second boss and then this dungeon are kind of the prices of admission to doing the Soul Blazer any % run.
Yeah, not only is there enemies that just ruthlessly hit hard, there's going to be these robotic mice that he's going to encounter shortly that are incredibly punishing if you screw up. Then he's also got these
helicopter things.
Yeah. They're also metal. You have to use the Zentetsu sword, and that's a nice level up.
Yeah, very prompt.
Yeah, I was tanking a lot of damage there because I knew that level up was coming.
So yeah, he's kind of trying to bait these helicopters to fly over to him just so that they can get to him faster, but he needs to kind of keep them under control so that they don't get away.
And to remind everybody, not all the enemies here are metal.
Yeah, like these caterpillars. Or not, so we can light arrow them.
Alright, there's more mices to deal with. Here they go.
Yeah, the rocket mice just follow this. They just follow the edge of the room, and they're all. I mean, they're not really that dangerous as far as killing you, but they are dangerous as far as just costing a bunch of time. Because in most cases, if you fail to kill all of them, you'll lose a lot of time because you have to just wait for them to loop all the way around the map and come back to you.
And if dealing with all these really incredibly high damage hitting enemies weren't enough, you have these areas where they're heated tiles again, back from that Act 2.
So those bulldozers there were not required, but he's opening the lair up as part of a strat that Everhate came up with as basically be a backup, because these mice are probably the worst in all of Leo's Lab as far as how much time you'd lose if one of them gets away. So because of the mechanic where if you do a screen transition, it resets a in-progress layer. If a mouse got away, he would seal that other layer in order to reset the mice.
Yeah. And he's going to take that medical arm and equip it because there's just no way you're not going to get through here.
I mean, these heated tiles here, if he'd have gotten the ice armor in Greenwood, he'd be able to cross it safely, but he didn't, so he needs the
Power suppression.
he needs the medical herb in order to be able to survive.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's gotten through. Once he gets past through this section right here, it gets a little bit more of a breathing room.
Yeah. Leo's basement, like we keep saying, it's the hardest dungeon in the game for pretty obvious reasons by now, I would hope. Because if he was level 16 and able to swing the Zentetsu sword, by the way, these enemies would take like
Nothing.
with the power bracelet too would be like 2 or 3 hits tops.
It would be a complete joke, but because he has to use the poking strategy and get that dangerously close to them, it's pretty intimidating, actually. Luckily, he should be getting close to another level up here.
Yeah, I should get on the next enemy, maybe? Whatever.
Because the experience curve in this game
There
is
it is.
kind of stilted. I mean, the amount of experience you get as you progress through the game goes up a lot. So even though as far behind as you are, you're going to be catching up.
The enemies he's killing right there, he's getting 145 experience per kill there, where like back in the very first area of the game, you were only giving me like 2 or 3.
Like 1, I think,
Yeah.
from like the goblin enemies. And then in the final world, they're in the thousands.
Yeah, which thankfully is a thing because.
We'll get to that
yeah.
when he gets there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. He's pretty much done everything he needs to do in Leo's basement by unlocking the model town, and that is our next destination.
Yep. So then it's time to death warp.
Yay!
Glad I
Death
made
Force.
All right,
that
it's
section.
done.
Yes.
That is by far the easiest.
Let's
place
actually
to
have a
die
round
in
of
run.
applause
Yeah.
for Deathless Leo's basement.
Death.
All right, so once he's out of there, fortunately, the next two dungeons are the model towns, which I've always kind of thought of as product placement for ActRaiser.
Buy our game.
Yes, they're considerably easier than Leo's basement because there's no metal enemies and
Yeah. In
it's
fact,
just not as difficult overall.
in fact, he's not even going to use the Zanzetsu sword here. He's equipping the Lucky Blade again, not only to just be able to swing his sword again, but to also get some gem drops here, hopefully.
Yeah, because since there are no metal enemies and there's a lot of really small and all of the enemies here are
They're
pretty
really
small,
small.
actually. Then,
It's like it's a model town.
the light arrow magic is quite useful.
Yeah, the model towns actually go surprisingly fast. This one has a few monster lairs you have to take care of. Most of the enemies here are really generic. There's nothing really special about them except invisible catapults.
And invisible houses, though he doesn't actually have to kill any of those.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just death warp on a couple of them.
yeah.
And then just like another thing you'll pick up too, there is a way to see the invisible enemies by getting a soul orb upgrade, but you don't need to see them in order to be able to kill them. So that's exactly what he's doing.
When I was doing this for my 12-hour challenge, I actually went and got it, and then Stinger and Genjo were in my thing and was like, oh, so that's where they were.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to actually look and see where they're supposed to be, even though you know where you're supposed to be aiming your light arrows to kill them.
I was just always get a chuckle out of these rocking horse knights that you have to fight in the model town.
And this is another case where there's multiple layers he's trying to destroy at the same time. The rocking horse enemies is mostly just want to take out to open up a shortcut out of here.
Because that ends up being considerably faster than a death warp would be, just because, I mean, he's going to the second model town next, which is right next to it, and if you death warped, you'd have to go all the way back upstairs from the Master's Shrine.
Yeah, the next model town is pretty much stock for stock image the same as this. However, there's only one one monster lair he has to clear out, and it's this will be done in less than a minute and a half.
Yeah, he just has to basically loop around to the southeast corner and kill some invisible catapults, and then he's done.
Yeah, look at all these enemies you don't fight. Ain't it nice?
See ya.
Yeah. Trust me, there's enemies there. They're all dying horribly right now.
Almost all of them.
Yeah, they do have fixed starting points too, so and their hitboxes aren't really like too ridiculously
You
small.
can kind of see them because their projectiles are visible, like those right there.
And then for this one, because he's going into the power plant next, it's faster to death warp to get out. Because he'd have actually had to seal another layer in order to get the shortcut, or walk all the way back out.
Thankfully, the power up is power plant is nowhere near as bad.
Yeah, because
As
he
it
is
is
level
now.
16 now.
So he can swing
the Zentetsu sword, and you'll just kind of see what chumps the enemies are when you can do that.
Dead. Here's another thing he's going to get here that's optional.
Yeah,
Optional.
Yeah.
The light armor. Why would you skip this? I don't understand why. Unless you forgot it.
Or you're doing low percent.
Or you're trying the ridiculous any percent strat.
Yes.
Guilty.
Yeah, so I mean, the light armor, I believe, makes you like take 0 damage from hits that would normally do 1 damage or something like that. But we just want it for a fairly significant boost in defense.
Yeah, there's going to be some later enemies in the next that absolutely ruthlessly
Yeah, because
destroy
that's going to
you.
be his armor for the rest of the game until he gets the soul armor in the final world, which is required.
And he's going to clear out this.
And just remember, look at how just quickly he's cutting down these helicopters that were just that took forever when he was poking.
It is a bit of. It feels good.
Alright, so we're almost done with Leo's lab. He's just getting healed by stepping inside the Master's Shrine before fighting Tyndall, the boss.
Yeah.
Tyndall is pretty easy if you know what you're doing, and impossible if you don't.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you explain this one.
Basically, the strat for this is you align yourself on this vertical line, and if you just stay here, he'll never do his side-to-side movements to those warps.
Yeah, because if he gets onto any of those yellow lily pad whatever's, he'll just start teleporting between them, and
It's completely random where he comes from.
yeah, it gets out of control really fast. If
Oh, that was dangerously close.
Yeah, it was fine.
Boy, you sure talk so confident when you're doing a run, but when you were in the hall.
Real quick to note, I got a $30 donation from Moonies. Ohio, since Everhate never supported me in my amazing non-time-saving, half-impossible, and totally ridiculous strats, here's $30 to Lightless. Kappa. Read that one kind of late. If Stinger goes Lightless, he gets to choose where the money goes. Else, it's Puexel's choice.
Well, what do you think you're looking to go, Poaxel?
how's the dress color bid war doing?
Let's look at that dress color bid war. Dress color bid war, it is something or other. Where is it? Oh, I lost it. I don't think we've completely updated it. Yeah, it looks like it should be still, I think, $50 for light, $15 for dark.
I'll put mine towards dark.
All right.
All right.
Because when Aurora, I found out when I was watching Ascension or Girls Practice, if Aurora has the dark dress that makes her hair white, and if she spins around, she looks like an ice cream cone. And I like ice cream.
All right. This is the castle world.
Magrid Castle,
Magrid Castle, yeah.
home of King Magrid, who, if you actually have been following the storyline, is responsible for all of the living beings in the world being imprisoned in monster lairs.
Yep. For what cost, you might ask? I can exactly tell you. A single gold piece each.
And then here we have the most easy to miss story item in a lot of games, the harp string.
And why not? Heck, a new sword. Why not?
But he's not enough. I think it's level 19, I believe, is the requirement. But he's actually going to be taking advantage of pretty much the only known useful glitch in the run, which is where if he equips a sword that he can swing, and then while he's swinging it, opens the menu and switches sword, even though he's mid-swing, he'll technically be using the new sword. So depending on how these ghosts travel, you can potentially catch them in the swing arc, and then use that glitch in order to instantly kill one.
To anybody who's actually ever tried to fight the ghost without doing what Stinger is and having himself in that very specific position, those ghosts just teleport wherever they will please. And it's incredibly annoying to deal with otherwise. For whatever reason, as long as he stands right there in that position, the ghost can never spawn on top of
Yeah, he
him.
does have a bit of a time limit, though, because of the fireballs hitting him. Well,
What are you
level
talking
up.
about? I didn't see any problems.
Touche.
Come on.
There you go.
Yeah, there's some RNG involved with the ghosts.
Yeah, just a little. It's not as bad as if we didn't have that safe spot, though.
Yeah.
And we can manipulate them a little bit by moving to a specific spot.
You know, you might feel more pressure if you take off that light armor.
No, thank you.
Something I just noticed too. I mean, we were talking about the experience curve in this game being a little stilted. Right now, he's got roughly 10% of the amount of experience he needs in order to be able to finish the game, and he's in World 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
Uh,
You might have also noticed.
So yeah,
where
we're
those-
sorry to disappoint you, but we're gonna have a pretty lengthy grinding session to catch up later on.
Yeah.
Very, very lengthy.
Yeah, I'll see you in a few hours.
What you might be wondering why suddenly he just started open up chests that appeared out of nowhere and walls that he just went straight through. There are invisible chests and invisible fake walls in this area of the game, and again, it's another case where you're supposed to get a soul upgrade that would let you find these items. But you know, you already know where they are.
Yeah, and they're pressing against the wall in order to move the soul orb, let him snipe those silver laser orbs or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
them.
They're not ghost
Before-
enemies,
before
so you
you-
can
before they-
thankfully cast
Yeah,
magic
before
on
they
them.
aggroed.
Alright, believe he has one more monster lair he absolutely has to take out to cause the singer to spawn? The guy that wants the harp string. Yep, and there it is. And more ghosts. Here he has the sword. Nice, okay. And here's actually gonna put himself a little lower. Because if he puts himself in that exact position, the ghosts are always going to spawn right in front of him. He'll take a bunch of damage, but he doesn't care because he just is going to death warp here in a second. All right, now that guard and the opera guy or whatever, I don't know. I haven't read this dialogue in a long time. Oh,
Well, and you normally play the Japanese version too.
that too.
so-
One of the nice things about
Okay.
the Japanese version is
So you notice how he actually he died but didn't lose all of his gems, and that was because of that strange bottle that he picked up along the way. I mean, that's unfortunately it does get consumed when you use it, but that's basically a one-time way to not lose gems.
Wrong thing to equip there.
Yes.
yeah.
And shoutouts to remembering to re-equip the light armor too, because I think it's probably just because of these cutscenes in this hall too that makes it kind of easy to forget to re-equip the light armor after.
Let's hear like 15
Death
seconds
warp.
of really good music.
I don't even think it's 15 seconds.
Yeah, well, I'll look at the timer on the stream layout and see how long
Right.
it is, in
Yeah.
case anybody's curious.
As I was saying, one of the convenient things about running the Japanese version is I don't have to read any of the text. Everything I need to know is literally a symbol of the sword or the item. It's really easy to keep track.
It was exactly 15 seconds.
Nice.
Thanks for the menuing.
I shouldn't
Well
have equipped the
done.
power bracelet until I got inside.
That was a nice 15
Yeah.
seconds.
So these knights here I always like to call shredders for obvious reasons. But,
I always call them the samurais. One thing to note about them, though, is that they have this boomerang attack that sweeps downward and to the left.
the red
forever.
ones do, yeah. The purple ones just run at you and then die against your sword,
Yeah.
basically.
You know, these horse head enemies as well are move the exact same way as the chess piece does in chess. It's always 1 square forward and 2 squares left or right. They're also completely invincible when they're sticking their thorns out. Luckily, they're not that bad to deal with. Yeah. All right, he's pretty much done with that floor. On to the next one. A couple layers he needs to deal with where he's got these shredders to deal with. But again, he's level 18 now, so he can swing the spirit sword. And he is pretty much decimating these guys.
I've got the Zantetsu
Okay,
sword
I think it's
right now.
I think it's 19.
19 for the
spirit
sword.
Still, you're destroying these guys.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to take out. So.
Yeah, thanks to the power bracelet.
You should unequip that light armor. Get some challenge.
Go for the lightless bucks that Moon has offered.
The problem is that light armor here, it's light armor in the world of evil.
You say that, but I still think. All right. I like these robots here dancing
Yeah.
to the music. They're great.
Yeah, these shredders are a lot easier to kind of snipe with the light arrow magic if you do it before hitting the layer in the
That
center.
was beautiful,
to
too.
Open the bars.
When you get those light arrow shots lined up just right. All right. He's got a bunch of seals the break here. He's going to go back to town, so this would be a great time for some donations.
I've got a $30 donation from Matse. Matse from the Suikoden revival movement here. I've been following RPG Limit Break the past 2 years, and I'm glad to see yet again a Suikoden run. Good luck to OmniGamer to his run later, and good luck to RPG Limit Break collecting for the good cause. Before we jump into more donations, just want to remind you guys that after Soul Blazer, it is Child of Light by Essentia and her children, Valkyria Profile 2, and Suikoden 2 to finish out the night for our first of 6 days of RPG Limit Break action. We also have a $10 anonymous donation, $10 to Sully for Capsule Monster. When's full Centaur, Zach? Another $5 anonymous donation, donating because Quintet made a number of my favorite games. Even if they are no longer around, I will always cherish what they made. And how about $100 from Mr. Cab? RPG Good
Cab.
Taste.
By the way,
Yeah.
is she pretty?
This is a but thou must. Remember where she's standing, too. That's important later.
Yeah, I really wish I knew that a while back. All right, good. You re-equipped it again.
Yeah.
Especially in this area right
Right.
here, he has a bunch of enemies he has to clear out,
So
including.
since Mr. Cab just donated for good taste, it's probably getting to be about time to talk about this game's Jerkbird.
Oh yes.
Yes, the Demon Falcon, which is the boss of Magrid Castle, we like to just refer to as the Jerkbird because it's probably the biggest single source of RNG in the whole game.
Yes. The bird can do one of two things. He can try to do some various launching attack and just kind of go from left to right or right to left, which is fine. That's the one you really want for the speedrun. Or he can dive, and he can dive some more, and he can keep on diving.
Yeah. It's possible to kill it with 0 dives. The current record held by Everhate actually still is 17.
I highly encourage everybody to wager what you think the amount of dives.
Yeah.
I am going to say he's going to get. I'm going to say 6.
Well, I won during a practice run last night with 4, so that's going to be my guess again.
All right.
18.
Oh!
The coveted Everhate Award.
Is-
I'm going for 0.
$1, Bob.
Strike.
Oh, this guy wanting to go fast and stuff.
Clear out these guys here, which is going to let him pop one more layer, which will give him access to that, and create a shortcut, which is good because he wants that health.
Yeah, this boss is pretty dangerous to go up against
Alright.
with no health.
All right, but before we deal with the RPG Jerkbird, we have cutscene with epic feelings.
A very, very long cutscene.
Yes, and we know what that means.
Yo,
Yeah.
I got a $10 donation from Smarvelous, sick name. Been looking forward to RPG Limit Break since, well, the end of the last one. Thanks to Poexel and friends for putting on a great event for a great cause. I want that to be a TV show now.
I'm good, thanks.
What's going on with Poexel and friends? All right. We got a $45 donation from Rio Bastion. Hey, donation and tech station, arm wrestle to decide where this goes. All right, I'll leave that up to you guys. I've got a $30 anonymous donation here, donating against mental illness, for research, and for RPGs. But a bit sad there isn't any Pokemon in there. There's always more years.
Yeah.
We got $15 from Rim D Craft. Awesome sauce stuff for an important cause. Keep it up.
Yeah, if you want Pokemon, we do have Yokai Watch in the marathon this year.
That's basically Pokemon.
No, it's not. I run that game, I know.
Having watched that game, it's Pokemon. I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know what you play, buddy. We also got $10 from one of our own runners in this marathon, Ghost King. Great stuff so far, guys. Keep up the good work. Donating to name Kevin in Seiken Densetsu 3 Wyverns for a Mr. El Magus. Thank you, Ghost King. And how about okay, go ahead.
I don't for the life of me understand what's going on here because Leo gave him the key and told him to escape and then blew up the guys that you're trying to escape from. Anyway, we've got a boss to fight.
Yeah, RPG Jerkbird time, guys. Count some dives. Ready? Go.
18. Here we go.
All right.
No dives yet. Okay, here we go.
Zero.
Zero dives!
Stinger's the winner.
Wow.
What did you do, Stinger?
Oh, it's pre-recorded.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have done a very believable job playing that video game.
He forgot to equip the power bracelet a couple times just to make it more believable.
Right. Yeah, one other thing we forgot to mention during this fight is there's this, I'm guessing we will say Win is constantly pushing him downwards during that fight too.
And he was also having his position was important too because he was manipulating the vertical position of the boss too.
Yeah.
Because if he'd have been too high up, it would have been outside his range for poking.
Yeah. More dialogue that should go faster but doesn't. Why are we playing the Japanese version again?
Because English.
Yes.
Once again, guys, this is your final stretch to get in your minimum $10 donation for all these awesome prizes that we've had. Once again, the Mario and Luigi Comfy Set, framed poster, hats, plushies, retro Super Mario XL wallpaper mural, Super Mario Aqua Bead playset, and the Terranigma reproduction cartridge. All are about to be cut off here in probably about 15 minutes.
Along
from
with
now.
the dress color bidwar for Child of Light. So I
Yes,
guess-
and the dress
I think
color.
we'll cut that off when Essentia turns on the game.
Sounds good.
Oh, no answer though. We don't want Stinger to have an easy time with the bosses. That's why he's playing English.
Yeah,
That's
every boss is
true.
harder on the English version too. Except possibly the World 2 boss, but
Yeah, that's definitely the one.
they're
that
both
takes-
difficult.
Yeah. All right. Remember that important thing we told you to come here back for? There it is.
Yeah, because there was another item he skipped, I think in Greenwood, called the Shield Bracelet that doubles your defense when you have it equipped. And then the Super Bracelet that he just got, it's basically both the Power Bracelet and the Shield Bracelet combined.
Yeah.
And that defense boost makes a pretty big difference in the final world, the World of Evil.
Yeah, it's entirely possible to go through the next area without it, but
It's, yeah.
No.
Do so and actually have it be faster is not easy.
all right, now that we have all the stones that we were so desperate to get, we can now enter the world of evil. After all this wall text. There it is.
And this would be the quintet background, by the way, too. Every quintet game has this kind of shifting starfield background at some point.
Yeah, most of the enemies that are encountered here wouldn't be that big of a deal, but because he has the the current best bracelet in the game, he really doesn't have to worry about his HP too much. He still doesn't want to take a lot of damage because he's going to take quite a bit of damage boosting. But for the most part, most of these enemies follow very predictable patterns. The only ones that are kind of really annoying to deal with is these.
Yeah, the nice thing about the World of Evil too is that because the large gem drop rate naturally increases as you make progress in the game. When you get to the World of Evil, like every other enemy drops a 10 gem drop, so you're always going to have enough gems for whatever you want.
There you go. You're going to see him like level up insanely fast here. These guys are giving well into the 2,000, 3,000 per kill. Nice.
It's a bit tight to get to kill all three of those guys before your soul orb gets misaligned.
These enemies, though, right here, these spinning
These right
panel-
here are basically the reason to get the Super Bracelet, just because you can't actually
Yeah.
damage them without the Soul Blade, which is the strongest sword in the game.
And here is the Soul Armor, the strongest armor in the game.
And you could wait out cycles in the blocks to get through without damage, but that's pretty slow.
Yeah. You know, he's pretty much going to go ahead and use that, re-equip that, good, and make his way to first kill this lair real quick. And one more, I think.
One more after this.
And right down here is the Soul Blade.
Yes, the Soul Blade's level requirement is 24, but fortunately you can kill these blocks, die in one poke, and they're worth, I believe, the highest experience award of anything in the entire game at 4,000.
It really does feel like the game developers intentionally made that, just because they realized that you absolutely have to be level 24 in order to use it. And not just that, he's also going to, this shortcut he created earlier gives him access to one of 3 items he needs to collect through this game.
All right, so he's basically reached the end of the world of evil, and the location of the final boss is right near that warp tile he unlocked. But in order to actually be able to kill the final boss, he does need to get the ultimate magic, which is the Phoenix spell, and that unfortunately does require a bit of backtracking to clear some layers using new weapons he has.
Yeah, those ghost enemies here need to be cleared out in order to clear out a lair, which will in turn spawn a very shy bird, who I swear is messing with me sometimes.
Yeah, the Demon Falcon isn't the only jerk bird in this game.
Yeah. That bird gives him the red hot mirror, and then he can get the red hot ball. He's already got
the
ball, and you got you're getting the stick.
Yep.
Back on Durian with the volcano area, there's going to be some Donkey Kongs that are metal.
Because he was able to kill some of them that he had to with the Thunder Ring, but you can't use the Thunder Ring outside of Bluster Island. So on Durian, he does need the Zantetsu sword in order to be able to kill the metal apes.
I'm more impressed that you actually know the name of these islands. I just know Durian.
Hey, I play the English version, so.
Go figure. So yeah, for the most part, that's what's going to be happening here is a little bit of backtracking. So this would be a good time for some donations.
And we have some. We got a $5 donation from Blue Undertones. First time watcher. I'm excited to see one of my faves played as fast as possible. Thank you very much, Blue Undertones. Also got $10 from Opus. Good luck and thank you to everyone there. Wish I could have made it. $10 goes to having the girl in FFA be named Opus, because I think I'm almost pretty enough, and becoming the Mana Tree would be pretty darn cool. I'll just believe you there. All right. Got $15 from Lord of Hyphens. Like many donations during this game, this donation is made in the memory of Everhate. I only knew him through conversations and Twitch chat. I feel we are all poorer for it. Donating for SD3 Dragon Emperor. And I have a $30 donation from Ampool. Had to donate during one of my all-time favorite games. Glad to see it being run. Keep up the great work, everyone. Thank you all so much for all your generosity so far in the marathon.
And he's got so much health at this point that he can actually make it all the way to Durian without the bubble armor. And so he's both saving menu time, equipping it, but also running down his health to set up, you guessed it, a death warp.
Right. He doesn't really care about his gems at this point either. The enemies he's going to have to farm later are just drop an insane amount of gems regardless. It's not a big concern. Alright. And there's the mermaid that will have what he's looking for. Lava!
And then, yeah, this is the other payoff to skipping the Mermaid's Tears back in St. L's, because if you actually did that, all the lava would be cooled down, and, well, you'd have to either go drown underwater or find other enemies that you didn't seal the lair of in order to death warp. But with the lava still there, you can just step on it and then die quickly.
Yeah, it's just a nice convenient thing, you know, lava. All right, now that he has all 3 pieces, there's only 3 people that we know of that could possibly put these things together. One of which is the king that we've neglected to spoken to, so he actually thinks we haven't already spoken to him yet.
Yeah, yeah. When we first time we talked to him, we're getting the text that we were meant to get for talking to him after rescuing him in Mountain of Souls world. But
Yes.
yeah.
But actually helping him create the magic that we need.
We have the most important characters.
we have the
in
we have the
entire game.
heroes of the game. Yes.
We've got a $30 donation from our very own Brosentia. Brosentia here, it's surprising how many prizes there are, right? Give them to me.
Yep, almost ruined the dancing
All right.
grandmas.
Dancing grandmas.
Dancing grandmas!
They're still going.
Yo, nice.
All right, now he has access to the Phoenix magic. Still, the lead hammer is the best. The lice arrow is still the best spell in the game. However, this spell,
only the Phoenix can
hurt.
actually hurt the second form of the final boss.
Yeah. When he actually gets to the first form of the boss, he isn't even gonna equip the spell immediately either, because it
creates lag
creates lag, and the first.
and wastes gems.
Not to mention the fact that the first half of that boss is a joke.
Yeah. It takes 10 seconds.
Not even 10.
All right, time it. Right there's proof.
No, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll watch it.
But first, we have our epic grind session.
Right. He needs to get to about 420,000 experience points.
Leveled. Because in order to actually use the Phoenix magic, you do have to swing the Soul Blade, which requires being level 24. And he needs about 200,000 more experience to reach that level. But yeah, he can just do this for 12 grand a trip.
Yeah, this makes the levels not really important at all.
Wow, this is some epic grind fest.
And he's not going to go all the way to level 24 too. He's going to cut it off when he could he can top it off from the blocks that are in between him and Death Toll.
Yeah, when I hit 396,000, I know I only need to make one more trip.
He's doing this too. In this final area of the World of Evil too, it's outer space. So
if you're not wearing the armor.
Yeah, if you don't have the soul armor, you take a ton of damage every time those scary-looking meteors
It's like
appear.
you're trying to breathe in a vacuum.
So the soul armor is unskippable for that reason.
All right, here he is, guys. Death Toll, get ready for final boss. But pre-final boss.
Get ready to be underwhelmed by his first form.
All right, here we go. I'm watching the clock. 1. See, not even 5 seconds, Stinger.
I was counting text.
All right, Death Toll's final form is a bit more involved, though. You can't actually see his health bar, but it takes 52 Phoenix hits against his head in order to kill him. And there's a bit of manipulation here too, because whenever you clear all 4 of these flames, they're all guaranteed to drop gems. He'll breathe fireballs. But if he breathes fireballs, well, his lasers that are on a timer cycle are on screen. That creates a bunch of lag. So ideally, you're in a loop where the lasers go off right before he breathes fire like that. But it's kind of debatable if waiting to try to set up that cycle is actually worth it or not.
Yeah, he can roughly get in 5 hits per pass.
Get ready on time too.
Yeah.
if I don't have the super bracelet, this hard fight is actually extremely difficult because you have to be dodging the lasers at the same time. But I don't really need to care about that since I have the super bracelet.
Yeah, as that effectively doubles his health.
All right, he should be getting really close here.
Time!
Nice.
Wow.
Wow, that would have been a PB. If
That
you
would have been a
Yeah,
PB
that
if it had been a one-letter name.
Yes. Really good run,
Wow.
Because your PB is like a low 140.
Yeah, it's PB's 140.24. So I think that would have been sub 140 if it had been a one-letter character name.
You would literally.
Well, you know what? We can blame Everhate for that.
Yeah, we actually can.
Uh-oh, Villagin's got a mic. Okay.
Yeah. This. I will leave it to everybody to enjoy not only the music, but the entire dialogue here sum up everything you need to know about Everhate.
Or give you an idea of kind of what he meant to our community, even if you didn't know him personally. And remember that music that Stinger teased us with 15 seconds of? Well, that's also the music for the credits. Do we want to do some comments too, or just have some silence during the ending?
I'm not sure how to handle it, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just more stunned that you actually could have PB'd.
Yeah, it was asked for earlier if we could just have a moment of silence from one of the donations, so I think that could be appropriate.
Okay, you got me right. The Japanese version was. Oh.
Yeah, if we look really, if we got really happy looking all of a sudden, it's because we just saw the runners of the next game come in.
Yeah.
You will understand why shortly. Yes, the next run will surely be great. Oh yeah, the one line you actually have to input. Don't you?
Yeah, the one input you have to do to actually.
Wait, does that affect JTR ATA?
Actually, it doesn't affect that, but it does affect task timing.
Yeah.
Ah.
Obnoxious.
All right, you know, Lisa, you know that really important character?
That we met for like a few seconds.
I think
and
we
then-
left her when she was in bed and when we ignored her.
And here would be the singer's song.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually one less difference between English and Japanese here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Besides the dialogue, I mean.
That too.
That's beside the point.
I mean, some Japanese games do have English credits for whatever reason, though. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Want to remind you guys also this upcoming bid war that's about to be cut off as soon as the game is turned off. We have a $20 donation from Dark Link Reborn. Excellent event for an excellent cause. Put this towards the light dress color for Aurora in Child of Light. Go for it, Essentia.
Yeah, last chance. We'll cut it off when Essentia turns on the game.
Oh, and here it is. This image here is different in the Japanese version. Here, she's just kind of like looking wistfully. I don't know. But in the Japanese version, she is she's looked like she's praying.
Yeah, she has her hands folded.
Yeah, which
And she's anime.
Yes.
Yes.
And she's anime.
which
She's anime.
and then and Nintendo back then was like red flag. Nope, change
Yeah.
that. You know, you would think, especially since there's a definite theming in this game with the whole that the main character is an emissary from this otherworldly being, like a godly figure. So I can kind of see where the prayer makes sense in that. But you know, it is what it is. Granted, if this game came out in this day and age, there'd be forums where we're like, they changed something in the port. How dare they?
Do you want to keep going through the credits? Okay.
All right. Yeah, shout outs again to Stinger for
Yeah,
that.
for the amazing Soul Blazer run.
Who, I could, if you were to tell me he'd get this good of a time,
I'd hope for it, but I was absolutely not expecting to have a run that good.
that you got
But-
0 dives.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't think we've mentioned an all run, but shout outs to the Hulk. He's the current world record holder for Soul Blazer, and he basically taught me everything I know about this game. So I would not have been able to do this without his help.
He's also God tier.
Yeah, he's way ahead of everybody.
Yeah, his current best time is like 1 hour and 36 minutes.
Yeah, in some seconds.
Yeah, he's good,
Mm-hmm.
really good. If you ever have any time to check him out, please do. He's fantastic. Yeah, the French restraint. The French restraint.
Yeah, he's doing commentary over there, so.
Thanks, the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once again, shout outs to Stinger for that awesome run. Like you said, could have been a PB, but we're going to blame Everhate for that one.
Yes.
Rest in peace, sir.
Couldn't have been more appropriate, too.
Next up, we have our first co-op run of the marathon coming up. It's Essentia and friends with Child of Light.
It's the Essentia clan.
We'll kick it over to a quick commercial and we'll be right back, guys.
All right.
They're just children that just ran in front of us.
I was about to get
Oh, that is a shift. You good?
Good luck.
Sit down. I'm sitting here. All right, I'm gonna grab one of those headsets, okay? And I'm gonna bring it around here, and then I'll sit behind you. All right?
Well, there was somebody sitting there.
Hello, everybody. Bro Sencha here, getting ready for an exciting run of Child of Light. Everybody likes light, you know, unless it hurts your eyes. If you get a sunburn, it's usually bad. But this Child of Light, she's not getting any sunburns. She's just dazzling, having fun. We've got a $30 donation from Locan Alpha, who says, good luck with the run, PJ. Never forget Cart 5 ever. PJ's not in the room, but I don't think he'll forget. He'll never forget anything. So as a reminder, we are RPG Limit Break. We are doing this marathon to benefit NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Real quick, more than 50% of adults and children with mental health conditions received no mental health treatment in the past year. NAMI is raising awareness as well as giving funds to help people get rid of the stigma of mental illness and the stigma of finding help. So remember, if there is anything that you take away from this, that it is completely okay to go find help. And it is completely okay to be yourself. Thank you all for joining us during this marathon. Also, thank you all, chat, for all the puns. You know, I think it would be really fantastic if Essentia heard a few of these beautiful, beautiful puns throughout the marathon. And so I fully encourage you, if you get the chance, let's go ahead and have a few donation puns come in about this Child of Light.
It's a very poetic game, too, so make all the rhymes you want.
Have a chair right in the way.
Did Alec not show you how to do that?
Were you kind of like a background commentary or sounds like
Is Alec anywhere?
He wasn't here. Well, no, he's not.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to think because...
Fetch him?
Yes, please do. Here. We'll go ahead and have Alec come and just give a little bit of a rundown on how to do that. Okay. Yeah,
Sorry, Brian. Do you have just 1 second for a quick question? Sure. So tonight would be cool if some of them could just maybe like 8 or something.
that's completely fine.
Would you think that'd be alright? So mainly just the things to sit out overnight.
So that ideally it's
We're gonna
red,
have someone
yellow, white, and blue.
clean up some of it. He's needing to add some decorations. So yeah. Okay. Need anything else?
I'm good, but so yeah, if you don't need anything from me, I'm gonna head out.
I don't think so. You've been.
Oh man, are we doing this? So much better.
I'm not sure they'll fit on them. That's the only
Handy for number 3 here. I'm serious. In case she screams. Yeah.
Rip headphone users.
If you want to have it on somebody else, it's fine.
Okay, don't mess with us, all right? Okay. You look good too. Oh, sorry. And it'll search based on that.
So I can hear you.
You want it based on the cursor.
I gotta sit here with this one in case you gotta get her wiggles.
You want this then, just because I did the last 2 runs, so I'm perfectly fine taking it.
Hello again. This is Brosenja again, hosting for Child of Light. Hey, by the way, girls, we have a $30 donation from Takazi. They say, hello to Essentia, Celeste, Laurelyn, playing Child of Light. I'm glad you're enjoying this, Celeste. The Child of Light community is wishing you good luck. If still possible, let all the runners choose what dress color this $30 goes to. Do you have a preference? What dress color?
What dress color do you want, girls?
We want the blue one.
A blue dress? Is there a blue dress?
That's the light dress.
Ah, the light dress.
Where'd my controller go?
They choose the light dress. Perfect.
Yeah.
They chose the light.
That's the ice cream cone.
Okay, here goes. Down. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, girls, if you're gonna have a microphone, you gotta be good. Okay? Only talk about the game.
Okay.
For this specific speed run, by the way, we do have some prizes